Hi guys, today we're going to be decorating this little tin. I got this at Dollar Tree. They come two a pack, so super easy and cheap, fun thing to do. And I've got some plans for this. We're going to be decorating it with this beautiful ballerina. I'm going to try to make it look like she is dancing in a flower garden with butterflies. I just think she's gorgeous. Now, I got her from my friend Debbie, who runs a Facebook page, a group called Kiki Sale. She sells craft supplies on there, and what she makes, she uses to raise homeless kitty cats. Kiki was a kitty cat, so I thought that was pretty cool, and she gets these beautiful things, so I like to get some of my craft supplies from her. Hop on over there and check it out. I think you'll be pleased with what you find. It's a great little group. And also, I got these little resin pieces. Debbie makes these. I can't get it in the right place. I'm terrible about making videos, y'all. I will get better, though, I promise. One of these days, I will figure this out. So we're going to be using those. And then I've got this lace also that we're going to be using. I thought this was really pretty. It's just a little piece, a little smidgen. We're going to be using that. I don't like to waste things, so I save all of my little bits and pieces, and then they go on something eventually. And then I've got these little tulip flowers, little bell flowers, I guess you call them. And I love these. These are so cute and pretty. And I've got this little flower, too, that we're going to use. And then I've got some rose buds and a leaf that we're going to use. And then I don't know if we're going to use this as a trim or if I'm going to like cut it up and use little bits and pieces here and there, but this is pretty and I think it will look good on this project no matter how I decide to use it, so we're going to do that. And I may or may not use this lace. This is really pretty. And we may use this. I don't know for sure if I want to use that. I might put it around here. You know, I'm not real sure what I'm going to do with this yet, but we'll find out. And then I've got these napkins that I got from Debbie as well. These are really pretty. I've already used them on some projects, but we're going to be utilizing this as our little background. I thought that it would be really pretty on here, so that's what we're gonna do. And anyway, so we'll get started. Now I don't like to put, I'm gonna cover this in some gesso first, and I don't like to put it here because if you do that, then the lid doesn't go down right and it will scrape the paint when you take the lid on and off. So I'm going to eyeball this. I'm going to eyeball it, and I'm going to put some tape right around this edge, about a 1/4 inch in, and I hope this works. I don't know. I haven't tried this before. We'll find out. We'll find out. We'll just fly by the seat of our pants here and find out if it works or not. Shall we? Let's do this. Let's just do this. Help if it was not sticking to my wax paper. You will find out from watching these videos eventually, when I get enough on here for you to watch, that I am a very messy crafter. I make the biggest mess you've ever seen in your entire life while I am working on projects. I just get stuff everywhere. And then I hate cleaning it up. How about you guys? I'm sure y'all are the same way. Okay. So, I've got my little trusty sponge brush here, and I've got my gesso over here out of sight. We're going to dip into that. Oops, let's move some of this out of the way or we'll get blobs of gesso on everything. Okay, now that that's cleared off, let's just get to it. We're going to put gesso all over this little puppy. I think the tape's going to work out good, and plus it gives me something to hang on to while I'm trying to paint this, so that hopefully I don't get it everywhere. We're going to cover this with the napkin, so I'm not real worried about how it looks. I just want to get a little coat of something on there so that the metal, the shiny metal, doesn't show through our napkin. I'm probably going to put 2 coats on here. Am I out of frame? I'm sorry. I just don't know how to do this yet, y'all. But I'll get it. Yeah, let's pull it back a little bit so I'm staying in frame. So we're just going to go around and put this on. How are you guys weathering this horrible storm that has come through here this week? Snow, snow, snow. 20 degrees below. That rhymed. But it's true. I mean, everything in my house froze up. Well, not everything. The toilet, most things did. All the important stuff. You know, the toilet froze. The sink froze. I had cold water, but no hot water. Yeah, so I was basically filling up pitchers of water to flush the toilet. And so, yeah. And I washed my hair in cold water. Ice cold water. Thought my head was going to explode. It was like brain freeze on steroids. It was absolutely ridiculous. But, you know, I could have been worse off. You know, some people had their power cut off for a little while here. They've been doing that to save energy. And so, I don't know what y'all think about that, but I didn't think too highly of that plan. I'm just thankful that mine did not get cut off. So my little lamps here are really the only things I've got going on right now. My heater's turned down and stuff, so we've been trying to conserve as much as possible. Now the trick is to set this down without it going anywhere, because I'm going to let that dry and probably do another coat. And then we're going to do this here. So, anyways, been off work for a few days because I couldn't go in with all the snow. So I've just been sitting around trying to think of crafty things to do. I read some books. I like to read. That's one of my things I like to do. Played some games on my cell phone. It was kind of chilly in here, so I had a hard time getting motivated to do anything crafty because that meant getting out from under my blanket. I didn't want to get out from under my blanket. That wasn't something I wanted to do. I have a little Pomeranian named Trixie, and she didn't want to get out of her blanket either. She really didn't want to go potty outside. Poor dog. See, and that's another way it could be worse. At least I don't have to go in the snow like the poor dog does. Gotta go outside and go in the snow. There's always a bright side to everything, I think. So I've been accused of being one of these glass half full persons, but I try, you know, I mean, why go through life being negative? That's my personal thoughts anyways. Like it or lump it. Okay, so that's done. I don't know if this is dry enough to try this again, but we'll see. I'm so impatient when it comes to crafting. That's why Debbie is better at resin than I am, because I don't like to wait for it to dry. I'm dying to try some UV resin though. I think that would be fun, so maybe I'll get some of that someday and we'll try that on here. We'll experiment with it and hope I don't get it on my hands and glue my lips together or something. That would not be good. I think that would be quite terrible, actually. But, you know, that could happen. Especially with me. I know I'm not showing my true colors here at all. I'm being quite neat right now, but I'm usually really messy. Okay, so I think we're going to have to, this is just swishing around. So I think we're going to have to let this dry. And then when we come back, I'll do another coat after it dries, and then we'll come back and get started decorating. How's that? Okay? All right. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Hi guys, welcome back. Our tin is all dry, and as you can see, the masking tape has worked well. The lid fits on. It will not scrape the paint off. There's just a little margin here, but that's okay because that's not going to show when we are all finished. And like I said, there's a little bit of the metal showing through where we painted this with the gesso, but that's okay because we're going to Mod Podge this. We're going to put some napkins on there, and that is not going to matter. So we'll get started here in just a minute. I am going to be decoupaging with Mod Podge Super Gloss. This is one of my favorite things to use. I use it all the time. It does dry sticky though, so if you are going to do the bottom, which we are, I recommend spraying some kind of finish on top of it, like a acrylic finish, so that once that dries, it's not going to stick to your surface that you have it sitting on. So I'm not going to do the top because the top isn't really going to be touching anything, but I will do that to the bottom when we're all finished with our project. Okay, so now we are going to start with the top. I have saran wrap because this is what I like to use with to smooth my napkin onto my project. I'll show you that in a minute. I also have our trusty sponge brush, and I've also got one of my favorite sable brushes for this. This is such a small project. In order to cover everything, I think we'll probably be using this too, so I've got that out. Alright, so I've got a piece of napkin already pre-torn for the top, and you want to separate the image from the back part of the napkin. Some people will leave this on here. If I decide to do that, if I want a more opaque, I will add these one layer at a time, because if you do just lay it on there like this, then I find that the Mod Podge has a difficult time soaking through all of the layers. So if you don't do it one layer at a time, then you risk having the top layer separate from the bottom layer, and then it makes it more wrinkled. Now, some people like that, and for some projects, if you really want it to look shabby chic and you don't care if it's wrinkled, then that's okay. There's no right or wrong way really to do Mod Podge. It's all based on, you know, decoupage. I mean, it's all based on what you want to achieve with your desired look. But today we are going to, we've already painted this, and we're just going to separate this. I do save these though because I can use them on other things. I can cover other projects with that. And so we're just going to lay this on top, figure out where we want it. I do want it to extend over the sides a little bit. So, but I also want my tulips to kind of be kind of in the middle, but kind of not. Let's just see, probably there would be good. So I'm just going to kind of crease around where I think I want to put that, so that I kind of have a guide when I lay it down on top of my tin. Alright, now I'm going to brush Mod Podge on top of this. The big brush. Just a thin coat. You don't need anything real thick right now. And I'm just going to kind of go around the edge with it too. Alright. And then we're going to lay this on top. Try to center it where I had my line. And this may or may not work out well. And this is where your saran wrap comes in. So we're going to smooth that out, and you will see that most of these wrinkles will go away. Hopefully. This usually works pretty well. If I was using my fingers, this would probably be tearing right now. So, and you just use light pressure. There's a few wrinkles in here, but that's okay because we're going to add some things on top of this. But for the most part, it's pretty smooth. So I'm happy with that. I'm just going to go around the outer edge now and kind of tack this down. We're basically just tacking this down. We're going to be putting Mod Podge over the top, so if it doesn't stick well in certain places, that's okay, because we're going to stick it down in a minute. Our napkin's so thin at this point that it's really not going to matter. because it's going to soak through there. And I might just put a little bit. Yeah, let's just go for it. And go over the top. Let's move that out of the way. We're just going to tamp it down with this. Just another thin layer over the top. And see that little bubble there? We're just going to get rid of that. Okay. And now for this part, we're going to take our little brush and go over it this way. I'm just going to brush down. And you'll see in a minute what I'm talking about when I say it's going to stick anyway. Because this will soak through and it will stick it down. Well, my bathtub faucet and my washing machine and my dishwasher finally unfroze. It took a week, but it did. And I really don't have that much to complain about because I never lost power during this storm that we were talking about in our last segment that we did. I know there's a lot of people in Texas right now that are really hurting. And I do feel for everybody who is going through this right now. Loss of water, high bills. I mean, this has just been the most horrible thing. And so I'm just praying for everybody right now. I know there were some tornadoes out on the East Coast, and you might not be a praying person, but I am. And so I'm just going to be praying for everybody right now. I'm sorry, I know I got out of frame there. I was trying to get that off my fingers. But yeah, this has just been a big mess, and I hope we all get past this soon. 2021 so far just seems like 2020's pesky little sister right now. I'm ready to just get past all of this. I think we need just some prayer and maybe some easier times. Hopefully those are coming soon. These past 2 years have just been really trying for everybody, I think. Alright, so we are almost done with this. And you can see this side, this is wrinkled around here, and I don't really care. And if this is, you know, it's got some little places that didn't get covered, that's fine too. And don't worry about what's hanging off. We're going to tear that off here in just a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start tearing this off. I keep getting out of frame. I know, I'm sorry. Trying to watch that. Making videos is a little harder than it looks, because you've got this one little area right here that you have to try to stay under, and since I'm totally new at this, I don't know what I'm doing yet. But like I said, we'll figure it out. Okay, so anyways, if I got out of frame, what I did is I painted around this with my little paintbrush. We talked about the wrinkles aren't very important right there because we're going to be putting something around there anyways, and it's just going to help it look a little shabby chic. I wanted the top part to be smooth though as possible. And then whatever excess napkin we had around here, we tore that off. Just in case I got out of frame and anybody missed something, that's what we did. Okay, so this part is done, and we're going to set that aside, and we're going to start working on our bottom now. Alright, so I have not pre-cut or pre-torn out our napkin for the bottom yet, so we're just going to kind of eyeball I want something pretty on here. I don't know if our napkin is made in such a way where we can get all of our flowers on here. But you know, that might be a good spot to work with. So I'm just gonna kind of crease it around so that I can see where I want it to go. And you don't have to do this. This is just something I do. It's just kind of a guide for me so I can see where I want it to lay. And I'm tearing out my napkin. Okay. And so we're gonna go big or go home here. So we're just gonna tear around this little circle. I'm leaving an overhang because we're gonna be tearing this off, just like we did our other one. So good. And here we go. We might have got a little too close on that side, so we're going to have to adjust this or re-tear our napkin. We'll find out. That's one thing about crafting, is there's always a margin for error. And, you know, if I didn't get it exactly where I wanted it, that's okay. I don't like wasting things, so if this doesn't work, I will use it on another project. I think it's going to be fine, because I don't really want it to go all the way up onto that metal part anyway, so I think this will do. Okay. So, let's separate this out. Okay, now we are going to get rid of that, whatever that is. I told y'all I'm messy. I get stuff everywhere. Oh, I really do. Now, because I don't want this on the tin, I'm just going to paint around the white part. I don't want this on the metal part of the tin, rather. Y'all know what I mean. Okay. Let's see here. My little Pomeranian's at the groomer's. She's going to come back all pretty. I'll have to do a video and show you what she looks like. She's just the cutest thing ever. She's a little old girl. She's 13, but sometimes she still acts like a puppy. I wish that was the same case for me. She must have eaten better than I did. I must have fed her better stuff. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. Get this stuff off my hands so that it doesn't stick. And where did we go? Okay, we're gonna go right here. We're gonna kind of stretch and pull a little bit. Don't pull too hard. Just stretch it a little bit. And then we're gonna get our saran wrap. And we're gonna start smoothing. See what I mean? Yep, look at that. Look what that did. That's okay. I'm gonna show y'all how to fix that. All right. Just take that and smooth it down. There's another little spot. Okay. Now, you can't really see that, but I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I'm going to patch it up anyway. We need a little bit of blue. So I'm taking this little piece of blue napkin, if I can get it off of here. It's handy to have a wet paper towel nearby so that if you do get Mod Podge on your fingers, this doesn't happen. And I forgot to do that. So that's how this is happening because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. That's okay. This gives me an opportunity to show you how to fix something if you do happen to mess it up. We are going to just put that right there carefully. I didn't get it centered exact, but I have another little piece right here that I can use for that. Voila! They'll never know. They will never know. Now we're going to have to be careful with that spot when we go over it with the saran wrap because we don't want to move it out of place. Now we're going to saran wrap this a little bit more. Try to get some of these little wrinkles out that we got in here. And see, it's not too bad. We have to be careful around that little spot, so let's put a little extra on there. A little extra. Okay. See. And our saran wrap is really kind of helping to smooth this out. And when this dries, I promise you it's going to be beautiful. Okay. Now then, we're going to go ahead and tear this around our little edge. If some of the white shows, that's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. We just don't want the napkin up on the silver part because if we do that, then at least as much as possible, because if we do that, then the lid is going to stick. We don't want the lid to stick. And I'm trying to keep my sticky fingers on the metal part so that I don't tear my napkin. I really try hard not to get Mod Podge on my fingers, but I'm messy, so that happens all the time. But I've discovered in crafting, as in with most other things, there's always a way to fix something. Or at least make it look less noticeable. And, you know, you don't want to ruin a project, so you've just got to figure out ways to get creative to make do when something happens that you're not planning for. Okay, so now then, we are going to go over this one. Going up to the edge, but trying to stay off of the metal. As much as possible. Okay. Just working our way around. And don't be afraid to be generous with it at this point. It's perfectly fine to load your brush with the Mod Podge. That works a little better, I think, sometimes. I don't really care if the edge is that wrinkly because we're going to put something around this. So it's not really going to matter that much if the edge is wrinkly. It's really hard on something round to not have wrinkles. And we got a little tear there where my fingers were sticky, but that's going to get covered up too, so I'm not going to worry about that. It's not going to show like our other place will. And see, that's already looking really pretty. It's not really, you can't really tell where we patched it, which is wonderful. Just going to add a little bit more to the bottom. And really, y'all, crafting, to me, is more about having fun than being perfect. Nobody's perfect. And your craft projects really shouldn't be perfect either because they're just really a reflection of your own creativity. You know, I mean, there's people out here, this is nothing new. This is something people have done. It's been done, but it hasn't been done the way I'm doing it. And when you do this, it's not going to have been done the way that you will do it. And that's what's really cool about crafting, is that there's a lot of ideas floating around out there, but everybody's got their own way of doing things. And when you put your own unique spin on it, that is what makes it yours. And that's what makes it unique from other projects. So don't be afraid to try things. I will give a shout out to a lady named Carol Tolson. She has a YouTube channel called Refunction Crafts, and she is absolutely amazing. Now, you talk about unique. She does a lot of really cool things. If you have a chance, get over there and check it out. I know she's kind of busy with work right now, so she's not really putting as many videos out as she used to, but that's okay. You can binge watch her channel for hours and never get bored. So please go check out her channel. I think she does a better job of this than I do. So you might get some good pointers from her as well. And that's what's fun about YouTube, because everybody's got a different way of doing things. And so you can find out all these different ways to do things, and you'll find your own way that works best for you. But do go check out her channel. And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe to mine if you like the video. If you like what I'm doing here, I will be putting out more videos as time goes on. This is a new channel, so I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. All right. Okay, so if I put any more of that off, if I keep messing with it, I'm going to risk tearing it. So I don't want to tear it. So let's go ahead and just let this be for now. And we will come back when it is dry. Okay. All right. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, guys, our box is dry and it is beautiful. Can't even tell where we did our repair, and we are ready to decorate. Now, I've already cut a length of this gorgeous pink and Aurora Borealis chain. We're going to be using this to go around the lid. And I've cut a length of this lace that I was determining whether or not to use. Decided to go ahead and use that. This is going to go around our base. And I have with me E6000. I also use my trusty glue gun, and I've got the little things we're going to use to decorate the box with, a handy picker-up tool. It's called a pick-me-up. I love this thing. It's awesome. I have an old brush that I use for getting glue into tiny little places. In fact, it's stiff from doing that. And I've got a couple of extra glue sticks and a little mini pair of pliers that also help me grab onto things. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and glue our chain on first, I think is what we'll do. Or maybe we'll do this first. Let me see. What do I want to do first? I think we'll do this first. Okay. And we're going to start back here. And what I do is I put a little dot. I get it started with a little dot of glue. I'll leave the lid on so that I can tell where I want to put things. This is going to need to probably go on this side because I'm right-handed. Okay, so we're going to start it here. And down. And I'm just going to tack it. Don't worry about that. That's fine. Tack it down. And we'll be tacking as we go along. Now I'm going to open my E6000, which tends to get everywhere, and this is where I get really messy because it does get everywhere. I've got to get all this stuff off of it because I'm bad about that too. Okay, now we are going to just kind of put a thin line around. Now you don't have to worry about this because it dries nice, and I keep the tip handy so that I can just stick that back in there so it doesn't go everywhere. And we will just lay this down like so. And then we're going to put another little drop of glue here, tack it down. And we're just going to continue in that fashion until we get it all the way around. It's dripping, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it. Tack it. $6,000. Tack it. 6,000. And tack it. And there we go. Get the glue stringies off of it. Very good. And see that little fuzzy? We're going to just take care of that right now. Get rid of it. There we go. Okay. Now that's on. We can adjust this. We can't adjust the, where we tacked it with the glue stick, but we can kind of pull it down while the E6000 is still workable, and that's fine. And it's okay that the leaves overlap the lid a little bit. I don't think it's going to bother that any or interfere in whether or not it opens or closes. And see how our silver part doesn't interfere. Our lid comes off easy. So we're just going to set this aside, and now we're going to go ahead and put our rhinestone chain around the top. We're going to start in the same place in the back. Get our starting point here. And get it ready. This is hot glue, but it does tend to dry quick, so I try to work fast. See what I mean? It's already dry. irritating. Okay. Let's just go ahead and just quickly try to tag it. There we go. I think we got it. I want it to go like that. Maybe not. I'll tell you what, we're just going to go ahead and use the 6000 right there instead of the glue to get it started. So we can get it going in the right direction. And there we go. That's what I want right there. Just going to hold that for a sec. Get this out of the way. Now that it's going right, we'll tack it. Let's do that. It's a little bit of hot glue so that it stays put. That's all we're really doing, is just trying to get it to stay put. Okay. And now we're just going to go around it with the E6000. Just using a little bit. And every now and then we'll just tack it. Get it in place. You can maneuver it after you get it stuck down fairly easily. Okay. And it's just a little too long, so I'm going to cut that little one off. Just pull him up a little bit. I just use my scissors for this part. And if we don't lose him, we can always put him somewhere. Stretch it. And there we go. Okay. That's on there. Just make sure it's flush with the rim. If you got any blobs, it won't really show. As long as they're not big blobs, it's not going to show when it's dry, so don't worry about that if that's what happened. Okay, and now I'll just replace our little lid. And see, those little leaves just don't really get in the way. If they poke out a little bit, oh wow, that makes it kind of cute. Adds a little texture. Okay, let's get rid of the glue stringies. And we'll move on. Let's save our little doodad. We can do something with him later. Okay, now, still a little tacky, but it's okay. Now I've decided that this is going to cover up too much of our tulip pattern, so I'm going to cut just a little bit off of this in strategic places. So I'm just going to kind of go around. I don't have precision scissors. I wish I did, but I don't. I'm going to turn this upside down. I think that might actually work better. Being right-handed, that might be the thing to do. So I'm just going to go around and remove that part. And this little thing too up here, I think I'm going to remove that. I like that little flower, so I'm going to keep it. Okay, now I think that'll fit a little better on our project. Yes. Yes, I like that. Okay, so we're going to stick that down next. And I go around with E6000. I'm not going to get it on there because that's going to overhang a little bit, so we don't need it there. But I am going to put it everywhere else. Okay, and I'm going to tack it in a couple of places with the hot glue just so that it doesn't move while we're working with it. Okay. And there it will stay. All right, now let's get rid of our mess. It's all messy. Okay, now next thing is I'm going to use these two little pieces here I've cut from this pink chain. And we're going to use those for the centers of these little tulip flowers here. And this is where our picker up tool comes in handy. So I'm not going to mess with hot glue with this because it just dries too fast. So, and this is where a little brush comes in handy too. So I'm really just going to put a glob of this on my brush. I'm going to stick it down in my flower. I'm going to use my little picker up tool. And I'm going to place this down in there. Hopefully where it's sparkly. And if not, I'm going to use my little brush to kind of adjust it. There. Pretty good. We'll take it. All right. And then we'll do the next one real quick. And I've got glue coming out over here, so I'm just going to pick from that blob. Let's turn our little thing. Oops, I told you. I get stuff everywhere. We are going to just get a little glob from over here where that spilled out. Put some inside here. Z6000 is being stringy today. Well, okay. Never mind. That didn't work too well, but that's okay. We've got time to work with these 6000, so we'll work with it. Let's put that down in there. Handy pickup tool. And we'll use the pokey end to get that down in there. There we go. That went a little better than the last one did. And I'm just going to kind of pull off any that kind of got on the outside of the petals. Once it dries, you won't be able to see it anyway. But I just don't want it on there. Okay, so we've got our little centers in there. And now I'm just going to stick them down. I'm going to stick them in the middle here is where I'm going to put them. So E6000 and a dab of hot glue right there. We're just going to shove him in there. I'm going to hold him for a second so he dries. move on to this one, E6000. Little glob of hot glue. And we'll stick him down in there and hold him until he dries. It'll just take a sec. Okay. So far so pretty. Okay, now, next I'm going to add my ballerina, which is right here. And I'm going to put her right here, I think. Be a pretty place for her to go. And really the only part of her that sticks is going to be just right in here where the highest parts are. So that's what I'm going to glue with the E6000. Definitely going to get her right here. And I'm not going to use too much. Just a little to go around. If I accidentally get some in the middle, it's not going to matter that much. It's really not going to show. And I'm going to get a little bit on her leg. And then I am going to just put a dot of hot glue there so that it will hold while we're working on the rest of our project. Hopefully. Just going to hold her down there for a second until that dries. And she's so pretty. I just love her. Okay, now I'm going to take my little paintbrush and just kind of pull this away from where it came out. It's not going to show, but I just like to remove as much as I can. All right, now then, we're going to put our little butterfly up here. Now he's a little, I'm not going to really mess with the hot glue. I'm just going to put him right there with some E6000. That's all I'm going to put on him. He doesn't need very much to hold him. And he's not very heavy, so he's just not going to go anywhere, I don't think. So we're just going to put him here. Oops. What? Love getting it on my fingers. Twist him around in the right place and just stick him down. He's going to slide around for a second, but he'll be all right. Okay, very pretty. We will leave him there. And now I've got a couple of other little doodads I'm going to put on here. Got this little flower, which I'm going to put right there. Make sure I get it on the high parts. I'm going to use a little dab of glue and stick him down. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to put this blue one up here. And holding down for a second. I've got this rosebud. I'm not sure if I'm going to put this on here just yet. Let me see. If I do, I'm not going to use that stem. So let me just see if I want to put him somewhere in here. Or if I just want to leave that off altogether. I don't know, what do y'all think? I think it's kind of cute. I'm going to go ahead and put it on there. right there and hold it in place. I want to lift that up a little bit. Let's get our glue off of there. So they're a good thing pliers are good for because you can pull little glue strings out with these. If you can see how to get a hold of it. Come on out of there now. Maybe not. It's not wanting to do, is it? I'm going to get you out of there. Glue strings everywhere. I'm going to get that out because I want to put something there. Well, we may have to do something else there. I don't know what that's doing, but it's not working. Okay. I'm going to see if this will go here. Yep, I think I'm going to stick that right there. This is just a little metal flower that I have. And I just want it to go. I just want a little something in there. My glue's gotten all gummed up. I'm just going to see if I can stick this down right inside here and get it to stay. Yep, I think that'll work. Once it dries, it's not gonna go anywhere. And then we'll put this one. Where do I want this one to go? Up here, maybe. Right there. Yep. I like that spot. Yep. Come back here. Come back, come back. Okay. A little drop of glue. Little dab will do. Uh-oh. There we go. That'll hold. That's good. I like it. And I think we'll do one more. I've got this whole little bag of roses. They come in all different colors. I think they're so pretty. I don't want to overpower this though. The ballerina is kind of the main focus, so I'm only just using this one color. But there's all different colors. There's blue and purple. There's even some black in here and some brown. I just think these are beautiful. I love them so much. Let's decide where we want this one to go. Let's try using our grabber. That might work better actually. Maybe we'll put that one right there. Or will it fit a little closer? Let's try putting it here maybe. Yeah, I like that better. I don't like putting too much, you know. I don't want it to be like in a little row there.